I am Krisler Bailey. I'm a college professor in the North Texas area. I have been teaching mostly sociology classes, but also been teaching some classes in relation to the transition into college. Some colleges call it orientation, some call it transition to college success, some call it university life, whatever you want to call it. I've taught those classes as well. So I also am an executive function coach and a functional medicine certified health coach. And so all of those things kind of have collided. All of my worlds and my interests and passions and experience have collided and brought me here today. So if you are joining me, I would love to see in the comments who is here. I also would love to see your questions. So if you have questions about executive functioning, if you have questions about transitioning into college, any questions that you have, I would love to just chat with you about executive functioning and college success. So the first thing I want to share with you is about executive functioning. What is it? Those of you that may have heard about it, you may have heard about it specifically in conjunction with issues like ADD or ADHD. What I'm here to tell you is that executive functioning actually is something that we all utilize every single day of our lives. And we are strong in certain areas, and we also are weaker in other areas, every single one of us. So this does not just entail people who have a particular diagnosis per se. We begin developing our executive functioning skills in childhood, in infancy, when we start to hear people talk and teach us about things, when they start directing us and giving us instructions, when we start choosing one thing or another, right? We're prioritizing things. We maybe organize our toys as kids. We learn to follow directions, or maybe not so much. We start to build our memory and our ability that way, right? Flexibility, adaptability. All of those things are a part of executive functioning. So when we are very, 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 very small, we start building those skills. And so I think there's this misconception that, we start teaching those kids those things when they're older. We think about executive functioning with teenagers or college students. We don't really think about it with very, very small children. And we may not be overtly thinking about it that way, but we do, as we interact with them, we're teaching them all kinds of things. The other thing we think about kind of on the other end of the spectrum is once you become an adult, you're good, like you're done. You don't develop anymore. So even if you struggle with certain areas, you can't get better because you're an adult, you're grown. But I'm here to tell you that's not true either. As an adult, we can still develop those weaker areas. We can still recognize and learn which areas we are stronger or weaker in, and we can improve. So that's two things that I seem to come across often that I just wanted to share and make sure is clear for everybody. So great question, Mabu. What's the best age to start teaching executive functioning? So really, we begin teaching that at any time. So even with our children, when we start giving them directions, when we start letting them make decisions for themselves, when we help them learn what maybe our family values are, right? That's helping them to learn how to prioritize family over, others, right? Or, if when they get their first job, right? Helping them to learn about time management and getting themselves organized so they can get out in the morning, or when they're in school. There's tons of opportunities in school related to completing assignments, right? Being able to start something, being able to finish something, maybe even being able to change midstream, right? They get an assignment, they've been working on it, it's not really flowing, they don't understand, they're not feeling it per se, and being able to be flexible and change midstream and go, you know what, this is the direction I really want to or need to go. So all of those things are executive functioning, and that's something that can be taught at any time, and we really can start at any age. So thank you for asking that question. I invite you guys to ask more questions, whatever pops in your mind, drop it in the comments so I can answer those for you. So, excuse me, I wanted to do this video because I received a question from a mom recently who was asking if I could help her college age student that finished freshman year, going back for sophomore, and wanted to know if that's something that I could do, that I could help with in terms of just helping them be more successful this time around. And the answer is yes. Just because you had a poor first year of college does not mean it has to continue. There are so many things that I see, because I work with mostly freshmen and sophomores, that I see that really have kind of emboldened me and pushed me to say, you know what, it doesn't have to be this way coming in, but even if it is, we can help you. We can fix that. We can work on those skills. So absolutely. Michelle asks, what are some of the biggest executive functioning gaps I see in college freshmen? Man, there's so many, and I really think it depends on that freshman's background and experience. Some come in and they are, they have had jobs, they've had parents that have kind of given them a little rope, so to speak. They have been in sports, they're well-traveled, all of these different things. So those types of experiences have helped them somewhat kind of learn some flexibility and adaptability, for example, right? If you're exposed to a lot of different people and a lot of different cultures, and you have experiences that allow for you to adapt to different situations, then maybe that's the executive function muscle you build, right? But I do see in general, freshmen tend to have difficulty with time management, prioritizing and planning. And freshmen oftentimes do, and this is kind of the health coach side of my life, but they often struggle with the balance of physical health, mental health, social health. Like, how do they deal with, balancing friend time and also school time, right? So that's the social aspect. They want to be social. They want to make friends. They want to get into groups, but they also know they need to be academically responsible. And so how do they do that? A lot of freshmen struggle with physical health issues, and it may not be something very serious. It could be they get colds all the time or what have you. Well, that's because they're not thinking about or planning out their time in terms of, getting enough sleep, right? So, that whole planning and prioritizing and so forth really comes into play. So, so those are some of the things I see a lot with freshmen: time management, prioritizing, planning, organization, and then they tend to struggle with some physical, mental, social health issues. Some of them it's all of it. Some of them it's just one of those areas. How can health and wellness coaching help freshman students handle this gap? Man, I think, coaches really provide support and encouragement where students might be missing that element. They really, students they may not be moving far away from home, but they're leaving home. They're leaving their support system. They're leaving what they know. Maybe, they are seeing a mental health professional that they don't get to see, when they're in school, or they're leaving their doctor. They're leaving these key people and support systems. And so a coach can kind of come in and provide some support for them and some guidance. Some students maybe only need a few sessions, and some may need sessions the full academic year, but helping them think through what their issues are, what their goals are for school. We tend to focus on the academic goal, but, students oftentimes, when they really start thinking about it, they want to be healthy, right? During the school year, they want to be able to enjoy their classes and enjoy the campus and enjoy the activities and enjoy all the different things that school has to offer. So a coach can help them figure out what those things are, create some goals, set a plan for themselves that's going to work well for them in this environment, and then provide support along the way. So I think coaches can be very beneficial. When students go off to college, they're eating a lot of pizza and drinking a lot of beer. Let's be real honest, right? So, how can they make healthier choices for themselves, right? Coaches can talk through that with them. So, there's a lot of different things that I think coaches can provide those students. Do you think overall stress management and burnout prevention would be one of the main areas? Yes, indeed. There's a lot of students that struggle with perfectionism. They define themselves by their grades, their rank, or their GPA, or all three. And so because of that, I think they really struggle with, well, if I don't get the A or I don't get that grade, right? There's stress there. Stress can also come from wanting to be a part of certain groups. And so maybe trying to find ways to get to be a part of that. Stress can come from peer pressure. Stress can come from a variety of mental health issues that maybe they already have experienced in the past and can be exacerbated when they get into the college environment. So stress is a big part of that. And I think finding ways to mitigate that stress, whether that be coming up with a practical exercise routine, learning how to do breath work. A lot of students struggle with test anxiety. So how do they mitigate that when they're going into a test? So I do think that you have a point there with stress and what a big struggle that can be for students, and finding practical ways in that college environment, I think would be excellent, an excellent thing for students to work on. So if you are just joining, thank you so much for hopping on. Just here talking about executive functioning skills and health and wellness for college students and setting them up for success in college. I will say, I've seen a lot of students struggle. I've had students in my office that will come and they don't even know what to do because they got a poor grade, and they maybe have never experienced a low grade before, and so they don't know how to deal with that. And so, I do more, professors do more than just give assignments and grade papers. And so, so I think we need to have this conversation more. I think we need to be really honest about it. There's probably some changes that need to happen in our education system as well. Let's see, existing resources for students covering wellness programs. It really depends on the institution. Most colleges and universities are becoming more aware and active regarding mental health. So at the university that I work in, for example, they have through the rec center, there's a wellness program, and they offer programming for students to come, classes, workshops, things like that. Just having a rec center on campus is a great resource, right? Students can go, they can exercise. There are also counselors on our campus, and many colleges and universities will have that as well. So they will have mental health counselors. Some will have psychologists specifically, psychiatrists maybe even. So if a student is in crisis, there's a place for them to go. I would say in many ways, your professor is your first line of defense even, because they're going to know your campus, they're going to know the resources. And if it's just something with the class, they're the ones that are going to be able to help you, right? But, your professors are there to kind of guide you and answer questions, direct you to various resources on campus. So there's a lot of different resources available typically on a college campus. Many campuses will have a registered dietitian. Our campus does. That person, in many cases, will work with students who have very strict eating needs. Maybe they have a severe allergy, like a gluten allergy, a peanut allergy, and so they will help them navigate that so that they're safe when they're eating. There's all kinds of resources available. One of the things I do with my Secrets to College Success workshop that I run is I provide all of the students with a resource document. It's sort of a scavenger hunt, but it provides them with some places that they should really think about on their campus and even off campus. And then they have this document where they can write it down. They can write down where it's located, what building, room number, and all that kind of stuff. So I know there's a lot of other people who have, similar types of coaching and things like that who provide those types of things, because you don't really think about those things until you're there, right? And we're trying to get you to think about those things before you get there, so you also already have that resource available to you. I thank you so much for saying that, Michelle Mahboob. I am so incredibly passionate about this topic and this population. To me, I think we really do a disservice when we talk so negatively about a whole generation, and then we don't do very much to serve that generation. Yes, I see it every day in the classroom. There are students that, bless their hearts, I'm not sure exactly how they got their pants on that day. However, I'm still going to show up and I'm still going to help them, because it's important. They are our future, and it's really needed. And, I see a lot of friends posting that their kids are graduating this year, and it's so exciting. They're graduating from high school, they're going to college, they're going into the military, they're getting a job, whatever it is, whatever they're doing. I think they need to have some preparation. They need to have some foundation. Yes, they're going to struggle and they're going to have to figure some things out as they go, but I also think that we need to really provide them with some good education, provide them with some skills, and recognize that they need the help. just because they got into a great school, just because they were top 10% of their high school class, just because they got A, B honor roll all throughout junior high and high school, does not mean they're ready for the next step. And once we recognize that and start to take action, man, things are going to be a whole lot better. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I really wanted to share today. Thank you so much for those of you that hopped on this live chat with me. I do plan to do more, and as the fall semester comes, I plan to have more videos, more reminders, and different things. And I do want to let you know that I have 2 virtual classes coming up. One is called Secrets to College Success. This session is going to be July 8th and 9th. They are live virtual classes, and they will be recorded. And then also I have a second one that's going to be July 29th through 31st. And that one is a workshop that I'm co-hosting with another health coach who also loves coaching teenagers. And so we're going to be looking at debunking the freshman 15. It's not what you think, y'all. We're not going to be talking about losing weight. So just pull that out of your mind right now. We're going to be talking about navigating the college environment, and what that means for your physical, mental, and social health, and how we are just going to take the whole freshman 15. We're just going to kick it right off its throne. So if you'd like to have more information about Secrets to College Success or debunking the freshman 15, drop a comment. I can send you the link to register, and I look forward to doing more lives and hopefully meeting some of you in the future. So for now, I'm signing off. Have a good one. Bye.